Hey, welcome back to Burntwood Workshop. Today we're going to go over my little prototype I'm running here. If you can see that, we'll go over how we did this. This is going to cover the infilling and infusible ink and a question I had in the comments, and we'll show some of the different infusible inks and what I found and different techniques. So our first test, a customer had asked if you could do this with the matte thermal laminating sheets. So we gave that a try, and I'll show the results of that coming up. But with the regular transfer sheets that I use, as you can see, this stuff doesn't come off. So I would, if you want to try the matte, you can try it. This is the ones I used. You ink it, and these didn't work on wood. There might be other ways to do it, but if you wanted a speedy route, I would go with the regular laminate sheets. So we stuck the mat down, and we had a bubble, and I re-ran it through, and I felt it was stuck down good, and it peeled right off. So not sure about the matte laminate sheets. There's going to take some more testing, but I'm not super impressed with the matte. It's finicky. The other laminate sheets go on solid. This did not. So we're going to do another test without anything and see what we get. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use this Infusible Ink, and we're going to put that on here. And this piece that I have is a little bigger than 12 inches. It's 12 1/4, so it's going to not come exactly to the end. So what we'll do is after we infuse it, we'll just cut the excess off. This is for a shelf back. It's not critical of the width, but we want it to work with what we're doing. So line that up at the top, and we'll tape this off so that she's nice. Make sure that it comes all the way to the top, which I can see a little bit of it sticking out. We want it to be a little overlap, not short, because then you can have a white strip across the top. And we're going to go put her in the press. So this is our infusible ink on just a plain painted shelf back with no lamination sheets or anything. She's a little hot. So that's what you get without anything, without polyacrylic, without laminate sheets, without anything. It's a little dull, but it's on there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to try and polyacrylic over that when we're done and see what we get. Okay, so before we do our engraving, we want to put our tape over it and mask it so that we can infill afterwards. And once we stick our tape down, I don't have the really wide tape, so I'm going to do this in two pieces. And when you put the first layer down, you want to kind of run that over it, make sure it's stuck down good. And I tore it too short, but I'm going to try and get these. You don't want them to overlap. You want them basically butted right up nice and tight. If you overlap them, they won't engrave the same, because they'll have to go through the tape thicker in the spot. And so you just got to kind of work it until you get it right up nice and tight like that. And then we messed up here, so I'm going to have to patch that with the piece that I cut off from here, just so it's the exact same piece. Okay, so we've got our engraving, we've got masking tape on it. So what we want to do is we want to set our speed for 50 and 150 to cut through the masking tape. I had it at 40. 40 wasn't enough to cut through nicely. So we want to cut through the masking tape completely. So there's our setup on our board, and we're going to go to process. So now this setting should be strong enough at the right speed to engrave through the tape completely and give us a nice engraving. We're going to hit OK, or hit complete, we're going to hit OK. And we're going to take this whole image and we're going to change the settings to 25 and 300. And then we're going to run it again. So after you've run your image through at 25/300 speed, as you can see, it clears this almost down to bare wood. So now when we paint it, it won't have that soot bleed through. We're painting it black, but I just want to show an example of what you can do to clean it up if you want to do white. You want to spray it, you want to get a small angle, and then clean your head, and we're good. Okay, so we've masked this, and we've painted it. Now we're just going to reveal our finished product. That's our first piece. And because we masked it, all that detail is basically right there. And that is some pretty intricate detail that all just filled in beautifully. Alright, so there's our last piece of weeding. And that is our image, our engraving before we polyacrylic it. Next we're going to put polyacrylic on the whole thing, see what that looks like. So here's what we ended up with. And that's just with a little couple coats of polyacrylic on it and the infill. Now this basically infused directly on the wood. I had a part where my tape didn't quite cover right here, and I had a black line. I sanded it off with sandpaper, and if you look, you can't see it didn't affect that infusible ink one bit on this painted surface. So that held up really well, and now that it's polyacrylic, it's going to hold up even better. There's just a quick glance at some of the different infusible inks in that set. Some nice options, and there's a ton of different choices. And you can get these in different sizes. Just watch your sizes because some of them are not 12 by 12. These are not 12 by 12. Some are. Just check your sizes. Okay, so we've got our image, and this image is a little bit, it's got a little more detail than we really want to cut out and weed. So what we're going to do is we're going to trace it. Save that. Take that out of there. Delete this one. Then we're going to take this, we're going to ungroup it, or release compound vector. And ungroup it. Then we can take, if you hold your shift key down, you can select the border. And these, if this is all you want, slide that down. And there is your quick cut arrow. Whoops, hang on, we want to keep it all together. I'm going to take that and we're going to regroup it. And then we've got our infusible ink in there. We want to make sure we switch this to blade cut, fine cut. And we want this whole thing to be kiss cut. So we want to set the cut pressure for 150. 15. And then, just so we don't use a ton of the infusible ink, we're going to offset it. We're going to go a little bigger so that we end up offsetting inside of anything we're kiss cutting. And then we want to pick that offset. We want to turn that red. And we want to take the red, and we want to make the red a full cut through, so that's going to be 450, 15. And then we're ready to run it in the machine. Okay, so in the M1 Ultra, we just basically full cut through this, and then we kiss cut the rest of it. So we're going to end up with this arrow, and then we're going to weed out, oh, just this right on here. Weed out this part. And this infusible ink is not the easiest to weed. But there's that. And then the other one is, if I can see it, sometimes finding it's the hard part. Turn. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to put this infusible ink onto a stained polyacrylic board. So this board has basically been stained gray, and I coated it with 2 coats of polyacrylic. Okay, and then the infusible ink gets a 390 to 400 setting, which we're set at 40 seconds. I'm going to put a piece of parchment paper over the top of it. It's a little loose, tighten it up a tiny bit, and go. Okay, as you see, she smokes a little bit, and it happens every once in a while, not anything to worry about. She'll smoke a little bit. And we're done. And this is what we're going to end up with. She's a little hot. So we're gonna... There she goes. Oh, she's sticking a little funky, but it's coming off. And I could have peeled that arrowhead, but I thought it would give us a little more detail if I didn't. If it gives you a hard time coming off, you could take one of these, just a scrubby pad, and wet it down. And just run that over this. And once the infused ink is on, it's on there. So doing this isn't gonna take it off or anything. It'll just get the paper off. Just like that. And that is infused on just regular stained wood polyacrylic. So there that is on just a piece of wood that is stained in polyacrylic with the infusible ink. So you could do names, you could do shapes, you could do pretty much anything you want with it. Alright, so I think we covered everything. We covered infusible ink on painted wood, we covered infusible ink on polyacrylic pine, and we covered the matte transfer sheets. You could try that, something else. I don't know. That didn't work, the one I used. I hope you liked my video. If you liked it, subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. If you have any comments, leave a comment. I will leave the infusible ink sheets that I got in the comments so you can see what I got and you can look at the other things they offer. And thanks for watching.